Hello and welcome everyone. Hello, Dr. Lome, Julieanna, Chef AJ, and Dr. Mills.
Hello, Stephen.
Thank you
Hello.
for coming to speak at our conference and sharing your information with so many people. So let me just bring everyone up to date on my thinking. You know, we're having a 17-day conference. It's probably the longest conference anyone's ever had. It's from 9 a.m. till 9:30 p.m., 17 days. We've got 75 speakers, doctors, authors, scientists, nutritionists, professors, dietitians. And I guess, you know, the reason that we're doing this is we feel there is something urgent to say. We don't feel like it's 1960 and we just want to say that, you know, people are, you know, having some stomach issues. We feel like we read the health and environmental information, and it seems like there is really, really important information in the world that needs to be shared. Now, at the same time that I'm trying to bring together all these amazing speakers who've written great books and have great information to offer, there's a marketing campaign designed to misinform people. And it's a very smart marketing campaign. They don't necessarily say fried food is bad for you. What they say is, you only live once, don't make such a big deal about everything. That's not going to kill you. Everything in moderation. Just have fun. Don't be that guy who doesn't eat or participate. And so they're trying to convince everyone that it really doesn't matter. Don't worry about the chemicals and pesticides. Don't worry about what you eat. Don't worry about anything. And yet, if you look closely at all the health statistics and environmental statistics, it's very jolting. It's very disturbing. And it's not like it's starting to get really good. It's continuing to trend in disturbing ways. And while we've had a lot of discussion over the years about obesity and diabetes and heart disease, you know, yesterday we had a panel and they were talking about Parkinson's and Alzheimer's and clearly making the case that this is also part of our current lifestyle. So I'd like to open up if each of you could introduce yourselves, tell us what your name is, what you've been doing for the last 20 years, if you have a recent book out or anything, and what the state is of health in America that makes you, well, what's the state of health in America? And let's start from there. So any order, we can go Dr. Mills, Dr. Lome, Chef AJ, and Julieanna. That order sounds good. So why don't you go ahead? Okay. I can't see Julieanna on this screen. Hold on a second. Let me see her. Okay, there you go. Okay, great. Thanks.
Okay, well, hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Milton Mills. I am a critical care and internal medicine physician. I have been practicing medicine for, and it gives me pause to say this, 31 years now. And I am located in the Washington, D.C. Metro area. But I also lecture extensively on the relationship between nutrition and chronic disease. And I see my primary purpose as being here to help educate people on how to take control of their health by modifying their diet and their lifestyle. Because all of the major health problems that we see in the United States and most Western countries are directly related to the ways that we eat and live. And in terms of the current state of health in the United States, it's much worse than it would appear because people are really being fed very unhealthy food. The things that you see advertised on TV, you know, with these giant sandwiches from these fast food operations that are just loaded with these pieces of chicken flesh that literally look just obscene. You see a so-called chicken breast that is almost 3 inches thick. And, you know, forgive me for just focusing on this for a minute, but I want people to think about this. A chicken breast is the part of the muscle that is supposed to help a bird fly. Chickens don't even fly. So the question is, how on earth did a chicken get a breast that is 3 inches thick? It's because these animals are injected with material after they're killed to make the muscle swell up and attain these just ridiculous sizes. And then people turn around, they eat this, and these chemicals go in their bodies, and it creates disease. The pigs, the cows that are being raised are given all sorts of steroids and other chemicals to make them grow at abnormal rates, so that the producers can make all kinds of money. And again, these things are absorbed into the consumers' bodies, and they create disease. So yes, we are seeing just increasing rates of all kinds of autoimmune diseases, cancers, and so forth that are directly related to what people are eating. And we need to get off this death train. And that's what I hope to help people understand, that they can do that by changing their diet and lifestyle. So I'll leave it there.
Awesome. Well, I'm Dr. Stephen Lome. Thanks so much for having me here. It's an honor to be a part of this conference. I am a board certified cardiologist and also boarded in internal medicine, and more recently, lifestyle medicine, which is just such an awesome growing field. I graduated 2010 from my training at Loyola Chicago, and I was really just trained in the simple pills and procedures approach. And I was following a standard American diet, gained a bunch of weight, reached about 270 pounds, and then Forks Over Knives gave you my whole aha moment, where it wasn't only just for my own personal health that I lost all that weight after going plant-based, seeing Forks Over Knives, but it changed my whole mindset as to how I approach patients. It was the biggest missing piece. And I was literally angry that I wasn't taught these things in medical school. I was taught prevention was giving medicines for blood pressure or giving an aspirin. I wasn't taught that prevention should be eating healthy, exercising, losing weight. I was taught heart disease is a progressive disease. It's genetic. Yeah, you know, if you eat healthy, it might slightly slow it down, but you can't stop it. I never heard the name Dean Ornish or Caldwell Esselstyn. And as I learned all this, really just became frustrated, angry, and changed my whole practice. Started working at Rush University, Chicago with Kim Williams, who many of you know. Tried to do a lot of different programs there, and was a great place. And we did a lot of good things, but it was frustrating that our whole system really doesn't make money off of prevention. And it was really hard to get things going. So more recently, I have moved out to Monterey County, California, and doing a lot of great lifestyle medicine initiatives, integrating all that into my practice. And about what I would say about the current state of health, and I'm going to focus, as a cardiologist on heart disease. It's just so simple. Heart disease has been the #1 killer in America since 1919, every consecutive year for more than 100 years, despite the fact that it is nearly 100% preventable, even reversible. The data is there, the science is solid, and we as a culture, as a food system, as a healthcare system, as a government, have actively decided to ignore the science and ignore the evidence that really shows the cure for America's #1 killer. And it just blows my mind away that we let 500,000 to 600,000 Americans die every year from this disease that we have a cure for sitting in front of our face. And of course, not to mention that it's not just heart disease, it's multiple other disorders as well that can be treated the same way. And so my mission, what I've been doing along with many of these other great people at this conference, is trying to be the messenger, trying to spread the word, the power of lifestyle medicine, that the default state of the human body is to be healthy. It doesn't want to clog arteries or become diabetic or raise blood pressure. That only happens if we actively damage our own bodies. Just eat the right foods, do the right things, and the body's own healing mechanisms will kick in. You'll return to that default state of health that we're all supposed to have. And it's just such a simple concept, a simple message, and why the whole healthcare system hasn't really gotten this and pushed it forward just blows my mind away. So I'm so happy for conferences like this to get this message out. It's at a critical state at this point. So it's all you, Chef AJ.
Hi, I'm Chef AJ, and thank you so much for having me. I feel very honored to be among such esteemed healthcare professionals. I am not a medical professional, so I don't know what the heck I'm doing here, but I will say, even though I don't practice medicine in a way, I practice culinary medicine because I try to help people get well through the use of foods, exclusively plant foods. I think I've been vegan longer than Julieanna has even been alive. It'll be 45 years come September. And what I see is people, unfortunately, getting larger, and not in a judgmental way, but in a health way. The risk, as we know from COVID, when people that were overweight or obese did not fare as well. And I've even lost some of my clients meeting to death from COVID, the ones that had quite a bit of extra weight on them, having lost so many family members from these preventable diseases like type 2 diabetes, even certain cancers, high blood pressure. I mean, I lost pretty much all my parents and siblings over 20 years ago, and I don't see it getting better. In fact, I see it getting worse. And the information presented at this conference is not just life-changing, but life-saving and planet-saving. And that's why it's such an honor to be here with all the other wonderful speakers, that hopefully we can reach people that we are in crisis right now. Yes, there's a war, but even before the war that's happening now, there has been almost a bigger problem, the war against humanity with these animal products and processed foods that are killing not only people, but the planet. And it's got to stop. And thanks to this conference, maybe the word will get out and people will really wake up.
Thank you, Stephen, for having me. Thank you, everyone. It's so nice to be in this wonderful event. And my name is Julieanna Hever. I've been known as the Plant-Based Dietitian for almost 17 years now. And it's so interesting because I was focused on chronic disease and reversing chronic disease and ameliorating symptoms from chronic disease with my clients over the many years. And now with this whole new paradigm where we're dealing with a communicable disease and non-communicable disease, we're still seeing this correlation between our diet, and diet is still the #1 cause of early death and disability in the world. And so it is so important to talk about food. And so I'm really glad that we're here talking about food today. I just published my 7th book in December called The Choose You Now Diet. And I've kind of been talking about eating whole food plant-based in all sorts of different ways and making it delicious and easy. And I work with all sorts of clients around the world and help people. And I love my job because unlike what I was taught in graduate school, I get to wake up every day and results are typical. I get to help my clients actually get healthy as opposed to help them avoid getting worse. And that was something I didn't know was even possible. And I see it every single day. I've been working with all sorts of different types of situations, and it's extraordinary. So I'm really honored to have this work in front of me, and I'm honored to be here, and I'm excited to answer all the questions.
Can I say something, Steve? Because AJ, you're making a kind of a distinction between what Stephen and I do as doctors and what you do, or even what Julieanna does, and I don't see that difference, because what Stephen and I do is theoretical medicine, and what you guys do is applied medicine. Because, you know, we talk about the theory of why, diet is important and how it impacts a person's physiology. But when we talk about making change, then it comes to the functional and applied way of doing it. And that's what you guys do. So this is literally 2 halves of the same coin. And I think it's really important to understand that. I mean, we need each other and we have to work together. And so, yeah, no, we're in this together for sure.
Great.
100% agree.